Good evening and welcome to Roundtable. Today we have with us Mr. Tissa De Silva. He is an engineer and he is an independent consultant. Good evening, Mr. Tissa De Silva.
Good evening, Divamala. I'm pleased to be with you again. And this time I'm going to talk mainly not as an engineer but as an ordinary person from the community who has been with every sector of the community and who is also closely associated with village development and other activities. And I thought it's necessary for us to look at these election results and analyze to a certain extent what the people expect of it, so that we will have a positive outcome at the end of this period of the presidency.
Yes, Mr. De Silva, I think now we're just after an election and many people have voted for His Excellency the President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and also many has also voted for the opposition candidate, Mr. Sarath Fonseka. So now is the time to actually be constructive and look at the number of votes we have got as a signal and to see how constructive we can be. So my first question, keeping that aim in mind, would be why did people vote for, and what is it that people voted for?
If you look at it, President Mahinda got 57% of the vote. When you look at that analysis and when you go around talking to the people before the election, how they were approaching it, as well as to the people after the election, I find the most important aspect why the average village person, who constitute the great number, after all Sri Lanka is a country full of villages. We have 12,000 odd villages spread all over the country. Why they voted was that they have finally got security and stability. So they wanted that security to be maintained and stability given to a person who has proved himself in the last 4 years and 40 years of history to continue with a strong leadership for the next period, which may be 6 or more years. But that is the main reason I would put it at.
Right, Mr. De Silva. So now let's look at different voters. For example, we know there was in Sri Lanka we are basically speaking about the Sinhalese and the Muslims and the Tamils, and so let's look at the Sinhalese voter who basically voted for not the president but for the opposition candidate. I guess the lesson we are looking at here is why did that particular Sinhala voter voted for Mr. Sarath Fonseka. That means they were not happy with the status quo. So that gives us a clear indication as to where we should go along. So in that perspective, what can you say about the Sinhalese voter who voted for Mr. Sarath Fonseka?
Let me just tell you first, before we get on to that, how the Sinhalese voter in a village voted. Those who voted for President Mahinda. If you take an average village in the Sinhalese areas, then you will see more than 60% of the people voted for President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Nearly some places like Anuradhapura area, 67% of the people voted for him. So if you look at the context of the Sinhalese, there is another vote of around about 30%. For Sarath Fonseka. On the whole statistics, I don't want to bore you with statistics, but on the whole statistics, 43% voted for Sarath and 57% for the President Mahinda. So, taking the Sinhalese people, I feel that the Sinhalese people, nearly 60 or more percent, voted for Mahinda because of the stability aspect, which one would expect everyone to vote for. But there was another percentage of voters put in. But for Sarath, maybe about 30%. So when I say voted for Mahinda, I must be clear in this aspect, that they did not vote for a party machinery. They kept out the party machineries completely out. They kept the local organizers completely out. They voted for the man, because when you ask the villagers before the vote, they will say, turn around and say, we are voting for president because he has done this or done that, but mainly the stability. But then they will never say about the party organizers. So the negative vote has sometimes gone for various reasons within the village. Now, in our history of elections, we have seen that it was evenly divided between the United National Party and the SLFP. 45, 45, 50, like that. It went on. But this time, a large base of that population has shifted to Mahinda. About 20% of that has come on to Mahinda's side. Why? You would have expected sometimes more, but there was a certain amount, as you say, the negative vote. The negative vote in the village has gone due to various reasons. Now, they can't, they identify themselves with the immediate man in the village who represents or who claims to represent the president in the village. It can be the Pradeshya Sabha man or a appointee in the, who would have appointed someone for the Samurdhi Niyamakas and all that type of people. Then they find that there has been some political disadvantage to them by the new appointee for not acting fairly when it comes to the village. So there are various village improvements projects where I can quote has resulted in those people giving the vote against the president, this 30%, which would have come to the president if the right person was there in the village doing the fair thing by the average villagers. We must also understand that when we say village today, it is not a place where people are not educated. Every villager has got some education. They analyze the political situation very well. Among them you get graduates who have taken degrees from various universities, and there are the graduates who have taken external courses and got degrees. So they are very well informed, and the TV and the radio has gone to them. So the whole aspect why they voted was the negative aspect of certain things which they felt through the party organizers in that village context. I can quote villages, but let me take one example. Now we have this Grama development, Samvardhana societies, and then Gama Naguma. Now some villages, when they see the contracts going to the one side on a political basis, they think that that man is making the money. The transparency is not there for them to see. Then they see that person who has got the contract making money. Now really the Gama Naguma should be working where there should have been a contribution to the process of about 20% on actual work by the people. But I have noticed in a certain place in Gaul, where I'm living in that village, that when they the government gives 500,000 rupees for the project, government contributes 400,000, and the other 20%, 100,000 should come out of your own village labor. This is never put in by those villagers. So the contractor takes the projects and he goes on doing it without the cooperation of the rest of the people. So the whole idea of the whole project where all the villagers get together is lost. So we have to tackle that in the future, that when we come to the future, that is there. Then there is a certain degree of appointments made by these local organizers who call themselves the party organizers and all that. You have to get a letter from them to put a child to a school, to get a job, Now that has to vanish in the system. So the negative vote, I might say, was a negative vote not for the president, was because it was a negative vote against the village organizer whom they see directly. Some were intelligent enough to say that see that the president is not responsible for this, because
not responsible
no, for the negative aspects of what they have seen. He had done everything with the good intention, but unfortunately, in our system, even though the president is the head of the executive, he has to appoint cabinet people and others from the elected people. Now, some of them haven't performed for many years.